Welcome everybody, welcome to another video coming to you from the tomb of EL-lumination. All the information you need to know about the physics of the flat earth realm. And we're going to delve a little bit deeper after this into some quite deep information regarding the man and the zodiac and ancient symbols and all that. It's quite mind-blowing. And when I know I've hit something on the nail, I get this feeling in here. Right, where's my pointy thing? Now, a little bit about the moon cycle and the sun and how we see it and how it comes out of creation that man does not know and does not understand. Well, common man does not know this. So we can take this as the flat earth system here, if you like, or the ecliptic plane back at creation. And the ecliptic plane, there's a flat circle at the top of a vortex, okay, and there's your vortex. So you've got this 3D realm that's come from the 2D plane. So looking down the 3D on top of the plane, a plan view, you've got this, okay. And then we have the 3D depth below it, okay. So you've got the golden ratio here, and you've got the S-curved side elevation of the 3D realm below it, stretched out. So you just pull a spring out to get this 3D image. Side elevation of a golden ratio in 3D depth. The 2D plane view is what this looks like here. So that's half a cycle, right? And this is what the moon does over 14 days. Comes out to full moon. Okay? So I'm going to try and break down the difference between creation in here, what's happening before it gets out to our expressed realm, out in the toroidal field, where Earth is created from the 3D. Once the 3D was created, boom, you can say it's a big bang, explode, comes out into the 3D. So you go back to the 2D plane of creation, we have the black hole center. And right on its horizon is the sun. So you put the sun on this side of the black hole, you've got to realize this, the sun turns, everything turns 15 degrees per hour, right? I mean, the stars are slower because they're creating this 3D cycle below the circling 15 degree per hour motion of the central sun. But at the same time, you've got to realize the central sun is the center of the wave. This is the wave on the ecliptic plane. And it gets slower and slower and slower as you come out. All the energy comes out of the center black hole, which is right here. So there is your 15 degrees per hour, okay? And that's the hidden sun of creation. Right back in here, in the center of this ecliptic plane, before it's expressed out to our realm. So the sun goes around the black hole. It's the first horse on the racetrack, okay? It's on the inside track. So nothing can beat it, and nothing passes it, because nothing can get between the sun and the black hole, because the black hole is actually on the horizon of the sun is on the horizon of the black hole. Nothing can go around the other side of the sun unless it's on the other side of the cycle. And if it's on the other side of the cycle, then it's in the light of the sun. You don't see it. It's during daylight. So I've drawn it here. You've got the sun and the black hole. And in the ecliptic plane, the full moon would be out here, behind the sun, self-illuminated. Okay? It's not illuminated by the light of the sun. That's where it comes into this deception back out in our realm. Okay? So you consider still the Milky Way. The Milky Way goes straight across. Okay? Straight across to where we see the sun. So here's another depiction of the Milky Way. Look, the Milky Way is the Bennu bird. They draw the Bennu bird. Coming off the Earth, the Arctic centre is the vortex up. Coming off the Earth, straight up. So you draw the gurgler straight down the centre down here. It's coming off the Earth. That's the one end of the Milky Way, the female end coming out of the vortex. Then out across here is the male end, over to the sun that we see projected out from creation, out from here, is cast out there. So the real sun's back in here, right there and right in there, where the two forces meet, because that's rising up and this one is coming over and meeting there. This is the shape of, this is the boomerang. The boomerang, or the Bennu bird. Boomerang in Aborigine Australian, Aborigine Dreamtime, boomerang. Egyptians have the Bennu bird, and the Greeks have the kneecap. The kneecap, see the bulge in the Milky Way? We see at night. So we're getting one image of our own in the southern hemisphere. We get one of these in the northern hemisphere. But all the secrets involve the two coming together. One of each hemisphere aligning with the centre tropical gap at a certain time of the year. And that's when the Earth is at rest. You'll see that in my previous videos. And this is where, this wasn't meant to come into the video, but I'll do it now, where you got one hemisphere meeting the other hemisphere. Okay? But like I said, we have our image of the sun in each hemisphere in the night sky. You don't see it. It's pointing the other direction. Okay? But you've got to work on this system here where both fields are meeting, and there's the divine, which is, call this the tropical gap. So all the mythical stories, mainly the Christian story, is you have the grandfather, the grand, you know, it's grand, it's they call it the grandfather. Oh, these are other myth stories actually. Namely, I think it's in the Fisher King. The Fisher King story. Or myth, you know. He's the grandfather, he's the one. He stays in the tower, and his son and father, I think it is, goes out to meet. See, they're coming out there's a meeting here to meet the visitors or something, and it's to do with there's the two mountains. You see this mound split here, the tropical gap. These represent the mountains in the Christian religious stories, the two mountains, and this is the holy meeting place at the top of the mountain between the two hemispheres, the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn. So this is where we have our sun, and it goes right back to the centre of creation. That's what it's representing. But we have in the southern hemisphere a sun here, and we see an image here. Everybody in the north gets his one image of a sun in his arc of horizon. That boils down again to his personal image. But if we just work on the hemispheres, 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 suns, main suns to deal with in our perceived physical realm, without getting too complicated and mixing it with creation. Okay, so you've got to think of this as the grandfather. This is the son, the father, and the son, and the son. There's 3 entities in this situation. Okay, and he goes out fishing to drop the rod straight down. That's what they're explaining. They're dropping the rod because the magnetic field drops straight down here into the earth to go to the opposite arctics. Straight down to go to the opposite arctics. It's the infinity symbol. Ancient infinity symbol. This is what all that story is all about, is this situation here. So out here is out in our realm, where we see the sun at the end of the Milky Way. We don't see the Milky Way during the day, do we? No. So it's all pointing away from us at night, spun around. Imagine this thing turning. So we end up seeing this representing the back of the sun. It's the Bennu bird in Egyptian, boomerang in Australian, and the kneecap in the Iliad, the Greek stories. Okay, the kneecap, the battle, because the neck, it's all representing the Trojan story, the battle between the two hemispheres I just drew over there. Because that's where the magnetic field creates the magnetic induction or capacitance to create our sun. So our sun is sitting in the tropical gap out here, okay, the centre north Arctic. So you come back in here, so that's the sun, the black hole, the sun. The sun's right on the horizon of the black hole, so the full moon would be out here, fully behind the sun, and it's all in the Milky Way at the same time, okay. So this full moon is represented in here, out here, back at creation. The sun is here, would be there, and the black hole would be in front of it. That's why we never see the black hole. That's the Father. We never see the Father. It's written like that because you don't. You don't see it at night, and you don't see it during the day. During the day it's in front of the sun, because the sun shines across the black hole. I might have confused some people over the years with what I'm saying here, but stick with this, okay? Shines across the black hole to give us the amplified version out in our realm. So there's the sun out there. But back at creation, it's on the other side of the black hole. Well, that's right. We were talking about the Earth. Science puts the black hole as Earth. Okay? So extrapolate this out into our realm, and where does it leave you? You think about that. I'll try and think about it as I move along, see if it works in with the story here. So the new moon would be completely opposite. Right would be, the sun's still there. The sun would be dissolving the moon because it's right in its face. Okay? And it all boils down to well, how do you describe that? Like two of the same entities cancel each other out, okay? So this is how the moon gets cancelled out, but you've got to realise the sun is male and female. So it's in alignment in here with the black hole. That it gets dissolved due to the female in here. Because you've got to think of this as all of sound. All of creation is light from sound. It's an amplifier. That's what the black hole is. It's like a trumpet. That's why trumpets come into the Bible. The sound of trumpets. So you look, imagine this. So the sun's here on this side of the black hole. Then the sun is out here in our realm. Over this side. Which means the full moon would be way over this side. So take this as our Earth now. So one side of the Earth you have the full moon, the other side you have the sun. Okay? Then you've got to imagine the whole thing just turning. Always turning. So these things are turning. But realise the moon is in this cycle here. Down in this cycle. This is why the sun turning is leaving it behind. Leaving it behind. Because it is just doing plain basic old circles up the top here. And what happens is over the month, the moon catches up to the moon. But not quite. Each day actually, not quite. Well, it's not catching up every day, but it's speeding ahead. So it's leaving the moon behind by 52 minutes. 52 minutes a day. And over the whole month, it falls short. Okay? I've done an earlier video on that. And just like it does with the stars, it falls slightly short of lapping the stars, so it's setting everything back. That's the precession of the equinoxes. So you've got that. So when you see the new moon at the moment, it's right there in the west. So it's not doing its remember Newton had his string theories, because this goes back to his string theories, but they manipulated the whole story because he's a Freemason. The string, as in, like if you're standing here at as the center of your arc of horizon, there's your sun, or the image of a celestial body, and they're just passing straight over your arc, perpendicular from the arc. So gradually that image is you see it this way, you see it this way, and then you see it this way. That's basically what happens to the full moon as it passes over your horizon, because you're getting the full cycle at the full moon. But at the new moon, it's already out here, it's already out to the west. It's about to dip below the horizon. You don't see much of anything changes here. But over the days, that new moon starts getting bigger, and it's creeping back this way, isn't it? Because it's getting left behind as time and the sun moves ahead on the other side of the earth, around the other side. So that the moon's getting left behind in time, only in time. And it's getting bigger and bigger as it's getting away from the sun. Because the sun's self-illuminating, so it's only getting bigger due to the fact it's going away from the sun. Which means it's getting out of the light of the sun, direct light of the sun, okay, as they're all moving around the center black hole. Okay? So the sun does this cycle there. So look at that, the shape of that. It is a pulled out version of this golden ratio in 3D down into the vortex. Look, it's quite obvious. You can't dispute any of this stuff. It all adds up. All the mythological stories. So, and there's your Milky Way, see? Direction of the Milky Way at this point, when everything's lined up like this. So you get a full moon in the Milky Way, and you'll get a new moon in the Milky Way. The only two times, twice per month, the moon is in the Milky Way, which is in the chamber, gold and silver, in the chamber. Research all the mythological stories, the religious stories, groom's chamber, whatever you want to call it. That's the way it goes. We see the sun out here. Cycles of this whole video is about the cycles of the moon and positions of the sun on the ecliptic plane of our flat earth center of creation, the ecliptic plane up here, and how it is seen from our perspective out in our realm, earthly realm. So see how we get it out here? Okay, so the full moon's right out there on the ecliptic plane, right out here, but it wanders back in, because there's just comes back into here, which is closer back into the center of the sun. So the moon is moving back in, say, as it's moving around, right back into the face of the sun. Comes right back in alignment, because there's the sun and the real thing back up here in the center Arctic. Okay, it's always moving back up, and this moving back up is giving you the figure 8 cycle again, just like I've shown you with the sun's image. Because the sun follows the magnetic field of Earth, and your northern hemisphere and your big southern hemisphere out here, moving in from the south, comes right up to overlay the north a little bit like this, and this moving in is giving you the sun change like this. We've been over that in earlier videos. Check it out. Check them out. Okay, so you got that. So everything's turning. So there's the moon. If you could photograph the moon over 14 days, you know, divide this up into 14 days, say, and there's your shape. Like that. The full moon, and then it has to come back in again. Another even one to complete your monthly cycle. There's 14 days. 2.2 days is lost in there. It's lost in the light of the sun, with the sun. Moves around for 2.2 days. And when it comes out again, it's slightly rotated in the system. So sometimes we don't see the sun for quite a while. And I think it's due to this fact here. Like if this came out like this, don't hold me to this, it might not be accurate, but there's your full cycle. Well, at this point here, you might not see the sun for a longer period than someone else. But this whole system keeps turning, so it's always slightly different each cycle of the moon, you know. Now, with the circle here, the cycle, try and draw in 8 moon phases. But realize when it comes in here, that is the 9. That is the 9, the divine number, is the holy spot, the G spot. Why do the Freemasons use this symbol? What shape does this G represent? Well, that's the golden ratio. That's your G. There's your G. They know all this stuff. There it is there. And they know going into there is the holy place. That's what all Freemasons is all about. The holy place. In here. So you come around there, spin out of there and go around like that. And you think of a woman's, what do you got? Something like that. The holy place, the G spot. So there you get, that's, you understand, G, you can put it as God if you want. God, the holy spot. Gravity. I'm not sure if there's any connection with that word, but gravity, because everything's gravitating to the flat plane of Earth, because the two forces of nature have come together, so everything must fall back to the plane of inertia. The plane of inertia is the black hole, and Earth is from the black hole. That's why it's a fixed and stationary plane. It's fixed. Everything's moving around it to come to it. That's why the cycle's all moving around us. It's quite obvious. Now, so you can play around with this. You've got the full moon there. You draw in your 8 phases, because that's what they sort of refer to, even in ancient myths and stories, 8 phases. Just this one picture here. One picture here. Let me find it. This one picture tells a very big, long story, many stories. I've listed them all in my comments here on Patreon. So this will go to YouTube one day, and they will have to come to Patreon to find what I'm talking about, to understand it more. But check out the reply I put in there. Now, if we're going to go into the real stuff here, new information. The alignment within man. Scorpio, the bowing. Where did bowing come from? The man's head bowing. The south, around the north, tailbone and pineal gland. Okay. I'll take a photo of this before I rub it off the board. Right. I'll try and leave some of the stuff here. Full moon, get rid of that. Get rid of that. The Bennu bird, the wings. It's separate to the phoenix, and it's you've got the phoenix rising, you've got the Bennu bird, you've got the dove. The dove represents peace, rest and love. Bennu bird represents this vortex, the shape, the center of the universe, creation. Then you have the phoenix rising, the double-headed, both ways, because it represents the dual system, separation. Out of the ashes comes the Bennu bird. That's a part of the divine enlightenment story. Now, a lot of you may have seen some images of this in I can't quite remember how they've done it, but anyway, stuff like this online with the already here with crop circles, all sorts of stuff like this or similar. So you've got to think of this bit here and something going on here. I don't know. But anyway, this image here, and there is an image on that photograph I just showed you. There's something similar. I don't know, and it's sort of connected with the scorpion, But what it's all referring back to is man's alignment. So you take this as man, see? And down here, there's his tailbone. Down here is the coiled snake. His coiled kundalini. And it's got to raise up to here, up to heaven, go up the mountain. Remember? Remember, it's connected with the earthly system, the two hemispheres, and come to the tropical cap and drop straight down. Here's the holy mountain. Two hemispheres of the brain, two hemispheres of earth, comes up and drops straight down here. Okay? It's all within this gap. What's hidden in here? And this represents the neck here. It's in that picture I just showed you too, that showing you the dove's broken neck. It all represents this neck area. It's all in here, all the magic's in here. So you've got to raise this up to here, okay? And this line is showing the alignment between the two hemispheres at man's hour of enlightenment. And the main one is the 3:03 a.m. to 3:33. 30 minutes. Okay? It's only 30 minutes, but it's within this hour of alignment. When all ancestral bodies are all aligned, the Milky Way. At full moon. Your full moon sign. Your full moon sign is the sign the moon was in at your conception, the moment of creation. Bang! All to do with the moon. And that comes around again for your second birth. Enlightenment in the physical world. That's your job in life, is to wake up your inner self, find your lost half and come back to singularity. Bring the two together. This is described in the two hemispheres of Earth. That's what it does over the air. Comes in, overlays, singularity, separates, comes back, overlays. It's showing you the cycle. And that's the cycle of life. So humans come into the physical world and lose all this spiritual knowledge. It's all bred out of them. They go through the system, falsely indoctrinated, never learn the system. Now, if you go back to the Mesopotamian stories, it's all about this. And back in the day, that's all they all knew. It was all part of their life. So they knew about all this divine stuff and the meaning to life. But now the ignorant man comes into this world, spends all his life learning, studying for his job, or studying to perfect, to be an athlete in life and win all the prizes, totally ignorant of his sole purpose in the cycle to illuminate, recombine the two hemispheres of his brain into singularity, wake up his third brain, wake up his third eye. As it's written, you only have to give 10% of your mind's time over a day, and you will start to find the meaning to life. Your Creator comes to you. Seek and you shall find. And people just think all this is dumb, stupid, religious crap, because they're so ignorant. I mean, I was like that. I had no idea. I was never religious. So they've missed the purpose of life, the meaning. Totally ignorant. Every gospel you read has got the word ignorant, because they know man is simple and ignorant. And the witness has to come forth, go on a mission from God, as the two Blues brothers said, mission from God, wasn't it? And he's the witness to try and frickin' tell people it's the meaning to life. And that's what illuminates the earth and brings all, basically love, pure love to the earth. At the moment, it's just full of shit, evil, satanic crap, because no one is aware of the love hidden within the whole system. Okay? Now, finding this, it's your job to find it, and it comes about in this alignment. When your mind and body are balanced, everything just comes into this alignment, comes into existence. So the scorpion here, the tail represents the tail down here. That's that end has to rise up to here. Your pineal gland, which is in the center of which is your holy place, your Jerusalem, inside the corpus callosum, inside the ark. Corpus callosum is something like this, isn't it? Something in like that, or it's a forked thing, but it's inside. That's there. See the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark. It's all within man's brain, told in allegory and metaphors and stuff in all the stories, all the ancient stories. The Ark of the Covenant, the Ark, Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark is the Milky Way. There's your Ark. The sun is in the Ark. It's the solar boat. It moves across the sky. You've got to be in this boat. You're in the boat at this alignment. Okay? Now the alignment within man. This is it. The Scorpio represents this. It's been risen type thing. At this point, it's Scorpio in the zodiac sign. So you've got to understand the cross in the system. Been over that many a times, and it's in that image I just gave you. The Scorpio bowing man's head. Okay. So in the earthly physics system, you've got to realize this is the biggest southern hemisphere, and this is the northern hemisphere. It's a 3-to-2 ratio. Okay. But over the year, when it comes up, the south comes up, goes. I've been saying it went under, but it actually comes over, overlays the north. and the overlaying forms the constellations as it overlays and then separates again. We've been over that in other previous videos. So, and with this overlay, there comes a point where this perfect overlay where the Earth is balanced, at rest. And that is at the sun's crossover in the analemma, right? Right there. Now, this is creation. That's all part of creation. And in our realm, you draw the man and his torso. Okay? So what does man do during his enlightenment? Well, look, he bows, bowing. He bows his head. This is where bowing comes from. We replicate everything which is connected to creation. And what happens? The man bows, says his neck there. He's going to bow his head. It just goes down. And this bowing is representing this overlay balance of equilibrium, the physica piscis, as we get in the earthly system when it overlays. Okay, so this is why you see the Egyptians depicting the man lying there in a fetal position. They're all signs, they've all been left for us. The man curled up in a fetal position because this is what happens in his rebirth. He gets in the position of a baby, bows his head, all within this 30 minutes. Well, in total it could be an hour because there's a lot to the story. And if you want to know more in-depth information concerning the story, you'll have to go to my well, there's a little bit in the floodgates videos floodgates tier, but I've done a more recent one in the sovereign tier. If you go into there, check that out. But this is basically what happens at night. You're in bed and stuff's happening, okay, in this divine moment and alignment. The south around the north. So you know the south, this big south moves around the north. It's part of creation. Well, we're inverted. We're the opposite. So we're moving the north. The north is moving around the big south torso to do the bowing. Okay, bowing. So this is your alignment. You got to consider this bowing as this overlays. The whole system's turning. So on an earthly system, oh, there's another person's alignment. In the physics of Earth, there's another person's alignment. It's all happening at this time of the year. And who's the lucky one? Who's awake to receive the alignment? But not only that, it has to be your full moon. Full moon. Who's got the full moon at this precise moment in the Milky Way? And the whole King of Kings stories is Pisces. Okay? So to find another moon's sign in the system, it's not exactly like this because this is the most divine. Not everyone can be the King of Kings, obviously, and not everybody can be a king, which is below the King of Kings. We're all stepping down the ladder. So we all have a different time of the year for our awakening. Okay? But anyway, you want to wake up to leave the matrix and step up into a different frequency. Your whole life becomes this different image, this different cycle of life. It's all part of the earth, but it's in these different, we wouldn't call them timelines, but, well, it could be, I don't know, but a different psychological, illumination as you're getting brighter and brighter. That's how it works. It's the meaning to life. And tailbone and pineal glands, eh? So when you see this sort of thing in Pinterest, is it? Or the crop circles, realize This is how the whole system works. Over the year, you got the centre north, you got the south. This is just one man's alignment coming right up, moves right up like that, because the whole system turns around there. See, it's all the way out here. You'll see my earlier videos. If you haven't, you need a Patreon, or you missed everything I've been telling you on YouTube. Spend some time thinking about it if you want to understand the meaning to life. Fill in the gaps with your life, learning your career, learning your trade or whatever, it's your sport, but you have to give, it says, it's written, allow 10% to give to the Lord during the day. You've got to think of the spiritual meaning to life and all that. And things will start happening in your life. Okay? Making all these comparisons with man, his brain, his body, with the physics of the earth, the whole cycle of the system. You know, especially this northern and southern head and body. The bowing, Scorpio, the duality of life. But check out this, understand the non-seen, the esoteric creation before you start making flipping crazy ideas of what's happening out here, like all the false science has done today. They just make up things to suit their crazy ideas and models, like retrograde, and calculations, make up a system to suit their ellipses and all that sort of stuff. Well, they don't do ellipses in here. Nothing does an ellipse. No, there's all circles. The ecliptic plane is all in circles. They create the ellipse because of the sun being there, going around the black hole, because the sun's offset with the black hole. So if the sun's offset, let's say you got the black hole, the sun's offset, and then you got your whole system like this. Well, look, the sun's close to that planet, isn't it? But if that planet was around here, it's not now. So there's your what do they call it? The short axis, some axis in here. And here, and there's your long axis in here. There's your short one. That's where they come up with this stupid elliptic cycles. Sort of like that. All rubbish. Get to the truth is to get to the Father. To get to the Father, you go through me. Christ, will go through a witness, get some information off the witness for information. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. I hope that's quite informative for you. I'm sure it is. See you later. And if you're on YouTube, you get to see this on YouTube one day. Come and join the club of EL-lumination. Or stay ignorant and just keep staying in the recycling system of reincarnation.